Hello, Ian. Now, before I start asking questions and like introducing you to Ian, um, I just want to talk about how we met because people talk about like strangers on the internet and stuff. And I guess initially we kind of were. We were both in the same program together, and then we met in person a couple of times actually throughout that program. We met in person, shared a few glasses of wine and all of that kind of good stuff. And then I was really, really, I have to say, honoured and delighted when Ian came into the world of the Visibility Vibes tribe. Such a great addition, such a good person to have in a community. Lots of knowledge, lots of wisdom, very wise. So that's kind of how we met. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the 12 days to confidence on camera, because different people come in with different, business backgrounds and knowledge and reasons and stuff like that. And I just thought it would be useful for Ian to share a bit of his journey as to how he came into the visibility world and all of that with the video. But also, he's just like, he was one of the first, like the first cohort, 2016, I want to say it was when I first did it, and has been like a solid pillar all the way through. So introducing you to Ian. This, when I do this is my round of applause, because it's a round of applause. Okay, I'll go and get my coat. So hello, Ian.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you for such an introduction. I just wondered who you were talking about for a minute.
I was talking about you, and it's quite funny as well, because I was just saying to him before we started recording, the last time we were speaking together online in this way, Ian had invited me to be a guest on his podcast, and I was training for the marathon, and I literally, thankfully it wasn't a video interview, or it might have been, but I felt really sweaty. I was sweaty, had my running jacket on, but we still had good fun and talked about lots of great stuff, which we're going to do now. So, Ian, I know that you and I have been in each other's worlds for a number of years now. I think 2011, maybe 2012, something like that. And I think it'd be interesting for people to understand, before you did what you do now, like what did you do kind of work-wise? What was your background?
Oh, that's a good question, Jen. Now, I have been totally unemployable since about 1993. So before 1993, I had several jobs after college. I worked as a photographer on the Henry Moore exhibition at the Yorkshire Sculpture Park. I delivered pop and beer for a local brewery, pop company. I did all sorts of sales things and things like that. And then I went off to sell frozen fish for about 13 years, door to door.
Oh, do you know what? When you said that, I was like, did I know that about you? And I had a distant memory, because I know someone who's still to this day a fish trader, actually. So you had lots of, I think anyway, lots of great skills that you could bring into what you're doing now. Sales and the whole thing of having people shut doors in your faces and all sorts of different things.
Yeah, that was definitely, you needed an attitude for that, because it's like if you knocked on 100 doors a day, you probably speak to about 15. If you were lucky, you got to show 10 people what you did, and 3 actually bought.
Yeah.
And it was a numbers game. So some days you might have knock on 10 doors and get your sales. Other days you might be on 150 before anyone talked to you.
Yeah,
so you've got to keep your head.
Oh, that's a life skill that we could all learn. So you did that, but what kinds of things do you do now in your business?
Right, okay. Well, while I was doing that, I did a load of Open University courses, got into computer programming and web development, and that sort of built on skills I actually learnt at school. So I think I was one of the first cohorts to actually do computer studies as an older. I'm going to say GCSE then, but it was O levels back then. With that old, and actually got an A in that. I think I was about top 6 people in the country. They said.
Oh, very nice.
So then I did a load of courses, and then so we're talking about 2004 or something. I sort of started moving myself away from delivering the fish because I had enough. It was a lot of hard work, and started creating websites, building people shopping carts and things, and working on the tech side of things. And then I got dragged into a restaurant with my then wife. So I went to help her out one night, and 2 years later I was still there.
That's a love story and a half.
Yeah, and then after that, after we finished with the restaurant, I came back to the current incarnation of this business, helping people deal with all their tech nightmares and getting them online and getting them in front of their ideal customers.
So I think just before I ask you about your experiences in the video stuff, what kind of things do people commonly come to you for? Because I know that your thing is dealing with tech crap, which is an acronym for, I can't remember.
That's a good question.
Something
that's out of my mind. Right,
something repetitive.
Something repetitive, annoying problems. I'll think about it. Because I haven't used that acronym for a year or so, but let me try and find it.
That's all right. The thing that's most important to know is when people come to you. I know I've come to you in the past and gone, oh, I can't seem to get my URL for my website, to talk to my emails. I know I've said that completely rubbish, but you can see how non-technical I am. But basically, when you try to maybe streamline your processes for how your emails come in or out, anything that's tech computing, you just seem to go, oh, that's easy. You just do this, that, and the other. What kind of things do people normally come to you for?
Oh, now that is a good question. So let's see, in the last week, I've had 2 people come to me for sorting their membership sites out to get them actually working, because they've created it on their own, or they've had people that's done half a job and then left them with a half working site because they got fed up or whatever the reason was. And I've been getting them working so it's nice, streamlined. They put down the manual work, and we're putting in simple automation so they've got a better system of helping the members get what they signed up for in the various things, because 2 completely different businesses.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you do so many great tech things as well for people and for business owners. So back in the day, 2016, I'm sure it was, because I remember Facebook Lives were about to come over to the UK, and I'd watched my American, Canadian, Australian, Kiwi, New Zealand friends. I'd watched as they were all talking about these Facebook Lives and stuff, and I was chomping at the bit to have a go. And in the meantime, you and a few others were part of like our inner circle that I used to have then. And I remember saying, come on, let's do some videos. Let's do some videos, and just kind of throwing down the gauntlet and saying to people, let's just do it for 5 days, keep it consistent, and it will happen. And I remember doing that and realizing that by me saying that, it kind of put people under a pressure that they really didn't need when they were trying to talk about their business. So I was like, right, I'm going to work out what the things people need when they show up on video in general. How can we make it easy? And how, because I'd experienced this as well, how can I say, just go for it. Just talk about something on camera without what I experienced. The first time somebody said, talk to me about your business on camera, I literally just went, and I started talking like this, and I felt really awkward. And I just thought, I don't want anyone to feel like that. So when I said, right, we're going to do this, it wasn't the 12-day confidence on camera, it was called the video game. So when I said we're going to do the video game, and you went, oh, I quite fancy doing that. What was going through your mind that made you want to get involved?
Right, the thing that was going through my mind was that previously I've tried to create videos, and I was just thinking about it just now, is that the first one I created was about when we were in that program together, and it was one of the tasks. And it took me the best part of the week, 400 odd takes, at trying to get the simple message across, fluffing my words, getting stressed out about it, having to find a teleprompter so I could have it on the computer screen and film from way back so I could actually see it and the camera all. And it was far too complicated, took far too long, and I still didn't get it right. And it was such a stressful experience. So that was that. Never thought about using video myself until your video game idea came up, and I thought, if you can make it simple, make it easy, and use what we've got, as you were saying, like your arm, your voice, and the camera. That's all we need. Make it simple, keep it simple. Yeah, I could do that. Let's have a try.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's always interesting to me what has people kind of, join in. And I remember that first cohort because I remember you and some others that were in there. We had a lady from America. And I just remember that the first kind of day. It was like it almost felt like first day of school. People looked around nervously, didn't know what anyone else was going to be like. But very quickly, you all bonded so well. Like, I personally was really sad on day 12. I was like, this is the last day, But I just felt a sense of community between you all, but also very rapid progression on camera for you. Was there anything that you can remember as you went through that maybe felt difficult for you before, but then felt better or easier?
I think one of the things was that it was about talking about one thing, not worrying about a script, not worrying about it being word perfect or eye perfect or whatever. It was just the act of pressing that live button into the group and saying and talking about it for a couple of minutes about whatever the topic was of the day. And there were fun topics, and there were tried. I think during the progression, you tried to build on skills from basic level, and each day built on it weren't like something totally hard the first day it was something so easy, and then it built on there. So by the end of the week, we're totally confident, and now it doesn't bother me at all about going live. I'll go live while I'm walking the dog, or I've even gone live on the South Bank in London on the middle of a Friday afternoon when everyone's walking round. And little inside tip, no one cares. They all think you're on a video call. Yeah, so and no one cares. You can be talking about anything, and you could be sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and the people walking past don't even bat an eyelid anymore. So there's no reason not to do it.
Yeah. You lot was so great, and I've had such a great experience. It's actually kind of like a signature program that I don't often share enough, but it's heartwarming. There's something really freeing, isn't there, about being able just to get your phone out and just talk to the camera, knowing that you're going to help somebody. Amazing ripple effect. Since you did that, I mean, you've mentioned that you've done videos kind of out and about walking your dog and at South Bank. Was there anything else that you noticed since then that kind of changed maybe the way you did business or anything else, the way you did video?
I think it made me more confident, even because since then, like Zoom and Teams and whatever the Google versions all come and whatever, and it's definitely made me more confident in knowing that I could attend an interview like this and not worry about it, because previously I would worry so much about it, because public speaking was one of my things, especially at school, because I've got had a stammer and weren't very confident and shy. So when we had that public speaking, when you had to get up in front of class and do a presentation, I got ripped to bits, and that was just the teachers, never mind my fellow students.
It's so interesting because, as you all know, I do help people with public speaking presentations and things like that. And it's a really common theme. It's different for everybody, but if anyone either feels nervous about it or has something that says, I don't know what it is, I just don't like it, it normally stems back to school days and that whole, Jennifer, stand up and read in front of the class, you know. And like you say, often it's not even the kids laughing that makes you feel conscious. It's what the teachers say and do. So yeah, it's a really common thing for people. So thank you for sharing what you've shared. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about that experience at all? I mean, you probably don't have to, but I just wondered if there's anything that I've forgotten to ask you.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me just think for a moment, Jenny. I think the major thing is that if you're hesitating, just go and do it, because it'll be the best thing you can do for the small amount of money it is, because it'll help change your life, give you confidence to be in front of your customers, in front of your potential clients, either on video or in real life. It might not seem it, but it's that thing. It just sort of helps flick that little switch to help you become the person that you really want to be.
That's outstanding advice. It's so true. I've got nothing to add, my lord. That's just, thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out to talk to me about your experiences today, Ian. And if people want to know more about you, wherever I share this video, I will tag in and put your best contact details, so make sure that I have those. Thank you for sharing that journey and story, and fascinating finding out like what you did before, what you do now, and so many more great things to come. And thank you most of all for being part of this, you know, the visibility thing, because a lot of people want to be more visible. They say it's their time, they say it's their year, and they don't do anything about it. And you did it, even though you might have been a bit kind of like, I'm not sure about this, but you still did it anyway, and you did it brilliantly. So thank you.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you've got to take action. It's not like a New Year's resolution where you join the gym and then you never go, and then you wonder why you're still as unfit as you are.
So
you've got to take action and put that practice in. And the simple truth, it does not take 10,000 hours.
I agree, it doesn't. 12 days, well, not even that. By day 4 and 5, I'm like, everyone, rein yourselves in. We've still got more stuff to do. So thank you. So true. Thank you so much. This was Ian, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. It's been a pleasure.
So welcome.